Hi guys, welcome back to Titan Podcast. We have a long-awaited guest who hasn't been here for a while. Jianhao.
I'm not a guest, I'm a host, I'm a host. Don't forget that I'm still a host. I was preparing for, the 2.0 version, and you see now, we're in the classroom.
Right. I guess I'm now part of Titan Academy. Congrats to me.
Maybe soon.
Sounds good.
But the whole reason that we are doing the podcast in here today, and maybe in the further episodes, is because we want to talk about the theme of school.
Correct. Something school related.
Yeah.
Bullying,
education, stress, growing up in the digital world.
Actually, recently there has been a lot of cases like that we hear about, like bullying. Then we see videos of like students beating out other students, kicking them and stuff like that. And it's just been quite worrying. So I guess today we will talk more about the whole bullying issue, which as parents, I guess we are both like, should be very concerned about.
Has it always been happening, or is it just that now as parents we are more, sensitized to this and we really take it seriously?
I think it's always been happening. It's just that in the past people don't film it and put it on social media. And I don't understand those bullies, right, who actually film it and put it on social media. Like, why are you trying to get caught or what? It doesn't make sense, Maybe it proves that like bullies are like not very smart. Okay, let me ask you a very deep question.
Okay.
Would you rather your child be a bully or be bullied?
It's something I think about all the time.
Really? Really? Okay, then how come you don't have a definite answer for it already?
Because I feel like they have to go through a bit of both.
Okay.
If it's a guy, if I had a son, which I don't, but eventually when I have a son,
makes a difference. Okay.
Of course it makes a difference.
Okay. So boy, child, son, you rather...
I want him to get bullied.
Okay.
First. No, don't say it like that. I don't want him to get bullied.
Touch wood.
I would like
rather
my son to go through hardship if it means that it's a character development, growth for him,
But what if he doesn't develop from it and instead he just like he becomes super like hermit and like don't want to go out and like...
Then I fail my job as a parent.
Right. Okay, but you don't think that being the bully is at least better?
No.
Really? I think I'd rather have my child be the bully. Okay, not because I approve of bullying, but because I feel that as a bully, you can, as a parent, be it via teaching or punishing the child to make them stop their behavior. Like you can either teach that, there's consequences to bullying, which is I will bully you back. But if your child is being bullied, it's very hard to teach them to not be bullied and to stand up for themselves. I feel it's harder.
But back to your question, right, about whether I want them to be bullied or not.
Right.
Okay, girl, I would rather her be the bully. Because I just don't want her anything to happen to. So I don't want her to be bullied. I don't want her to be hurt. It's just fully like, it's like a box of love. And if it's my daughter, I'll be driving down in my car, I will make sure it's the loudest car.
Right.
I'll be like, I'm here, who did that?
Right. I think girls...
They are gonna pay!
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I think girls bully in a different form. More like mental.
Yeah. But if it was a son, right?
Yeah.
Comes back home, tells me, today, some kids put my face in the toilet bowl, I better walk it off, bro. Because, you realize, right, when you see rather successful people, not necessarily like in terms of wealth, but just people who present themselves better. Like you always hear stories like, oh, when I was young, I got bullied. But you never hear stories like, I was the bully, I bullied people, and now look at me, I'm still good.
I don't believe. I remember this one famous case, like I cannot remember, some YouTuber was talking about being bullied, and then like people came out all in the comments to say, no, you were the one that was bullying people.
Right.
Who was it? Some famous YouTuber, I cannot remember off the top of my head. And I think in general, right, I also have quite a strong character, but there are also instances where I feel bullied.
Yeah?
Yeah, in the past. Yeah, like, are you interested to hear about this?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then
perhaps we have to bring in some experts.
Oh yes, we have guests today, that's right, yes. So we have two guests who are coming to join us today. Let's welcome them.
Hello.
Yay, hi.
I'm Xiaxue, how are you guys doing?
Hi. Okay, we have Dr. Hamid here and also Miss Elysa. Yeah, not Elysa. Okay, Elysa.
Yeah, so I'm Hamid. My day job, I fix people with bone issues. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. After work, I go to Jurong and I'm an MP at the West Coast Jurong West GRC, so I look after people in Jurong Spring and Gekpo.
For me, I run a social service agency called Campus Impact. We take care of children from low-income families. They're aged 7 to 17, so seeing quite a range of different cases also.
Firstly, I want to tell you, we are not experts. We are here to have a conversation. Just to put it out there,
All learning from one another.
Experts
right.
fixing bones. That's for sure, right? Yeah. Okay, so we have got a lot of questions for you guys also. I guess to discuss lah. Yeah. So I guess nowadays, I think my first question is: do you guys think that there has been an increase since you are MPs and people come to you with issues and stuff like that, right? Do you think there has been an increase in cases of bullying in school, or you think it's always been the same, kind of?
Well, I think there's definitely more visibility as we have seen with the rise of media, right? Social media, digital media, with devices children have now, they're able to record things. So I think there's definitely getting more visibility.
The
I think
intensity also?
Intensity as well, yeah, correct. So in terms of actual number statistics, I don't know whether there's a significant trend upwards, but I definitely think in terms of visibility and the amount of news generated out of bullying incidents definitely is on the rise, right? But I don't think this is a matter to do with analysing statistics. I think we need to look at it from a perspective of safety, the environment that our children are growing up in, and to correct behavioral fallacies, as well as to make sure that the environment can look after our children in a safe manner to prevent these behaviors from escalating. I think that's the more important thing. So even if it's just one bullying case or 100 bullying cases, the approach should not change based on the statistics. The intensity of the approach may change, but how we deal with bullying as a problem shouldn't be based just on the number of bullying cases.
Right. Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, one case is always one too many.
Yeah.
And you really want to create that safety for children wherever they may be. So sometimes we see them in schools. These incidents can happen also in the playground. It can happen in a stairwell. So then how are we equipping our children with those skills to navigate this space effectively?
Do people come to you guys with issues about online bullying? Because like in the past, there's just physical bullying, right? And we don't have that online bullying when we're growing up, I guess. So like now you can be bullied online and offline. So there should be double of it, I guess. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we grew up in quite a digital era. So even for us...
Okay, so
We
no
were
internet.
probably call ourselves digital natives, but definitely when we were in school, there was digital spaces, probably not as pervasive as it is now. You know, we still spent lots of time offline rather than online, I would say.
Yes.
But yes, it was there. And to answer your question, yes, there are parents, sometimes who come to MPS or when they meet, they say, hey, can the government go and, look into banning social media for my kids or not,
Yeah.
why are my kids in primary school, needing to use their devices, can we just ban it, right? So there are instances, because parents are worried because they are obviously a generation, from a generation where they were not exposed to social media and they may have difficulty grasping how to handle it from a young person's perspective. So they come with real fears, but legislation isn't everything, right? While we can clamour for laws and rules to be put in place, I think what we need to start from is in understanding the problem, understanding where the issues are, and in creating a space where children can actually safely explore these spaces. What we don't want is to create a black market. What I say, when you ban something, and because there's so much of interest in it, it festers a whole black market opportunities for people who want to get and experience it. Right. So, and I don't think there's an end to rule making or making laws.
So around what age do kids start getting their phones?
In Singapore, it's
Yeah, in
about
Singapore.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Like their
Globally,
own
it's actually 10. So we are
So
a bit
we
younger.
are younger. Oh,
compared
okay.
to the global.
But sometimes I feel like the phone is for safety. Like end school, they call their parents like, I'm coming back. Like you can pick me up now, kind of thing. Like I guess sometimes it's needed also.
My daughter's going to primary school in a few months.
So maybe we can take a poll here. When did you start giving your kid a phone
Only use the phone at home.
at home?
Yeah.
Yourself?
She has a watch.
Yes,
Smartwatch.
same. So me and my wife, I would worry if your daughter had a phone now because she's only 2, right?
Son, yeah, two.
Two,
Yeah.
yes, okay. Yeah, so the same thing. So me and my wife made a concerted decision not to give our kids who were in primary school a phone. So like you guys, we were worried for safety, location and
Yeah.
things like that. So we gave them a watch that we could track their location, and if we needed to, they could reach out to us via SOS button, and they could just send over quick voice messages to let us know whether they're going to end school late or where they want to be picked up.
Do they complain that their classmates got phone then they don't have?
Yeah, my eldest daughter is 12 now, so she's almost like a teen. So obviously some of her friends are already on some of these platforms where they are conversing with each other. So
Horrible.
yeah, she
At
complains.
12 years old dancing on TikTok. Terrible.
Yeah, so but me and my wife were quite clear that we're not going to relent to the pressure. But it's about conversations. So we had a conversation with her on why we don't want her to have the phone, but we gave her the benefit of communicating with her friends through WhatsApp on my wife's phone, for example.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then your wife can see all the conversation.
My wife is quite mature about it. She doesn't read the messages there. So that we
Well,
allocate.
definitely read.
Yeah, we allocate an hour
pretend
a
not to
day
read.
where she gets to catch up on the messages and replies. Right. So we have that, but cannot be forever, lah. Right.
Yeah.
So back to the question of age, I don't think it's just about a matter of the age itself, I really think it's about responsibility and maturity. Some 8-year-olds can behave younger than their age.
Right.
And some can behave older than their age. So I think it really is about, exercising their responsibility in utilizing the devices and importantly discipline. I think that's very important when you're young, to instill some discipline in device usage. And Elysa, you probably know this better than me. There are well-known studies to show that early exposure does give rise to
Mental health
issues, right?
Give rise?
Yeah, it is directly correlated that when you start using a device earlier, it may have an effect on your mental health in young
really?
people. Yeah.
What kind of effect?
I gave my daughter a phone when she was 4.
Yeah.
Actually, her grandma gave her a
But I think it also depends on what apps you have lah. Like if you just watch like YouTube Kids, like it's probably quite okay.
No one watches YouTube Kids.
Why?
Let's be honest here. No one watches YouTube Kids. The kids just use the phone to watch normal YouTube. Have you seen normal YouTube now? Have you seen what's on YouTube these days?
It's
all
terrible.
like AI content for kids.
Yeah. And then they just get brain rot lah. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's directly related in the sense of what they get depression, they go crazy.
More anxiety. It exposes them to cyberbullying as well. So those are some things that we really should be watching out for children when they start using this space. And one way that we can do it is actually exactly how Dr. Hamid described it. As parents, we can do it together with the kids.
Right.
The staff in my center actually play Mobile Legends with our students. So we can actually be in the same space and monitor what's going on.
Oh, speaking of like online gaming, there's so much bullying there. It's so toxic when people are playing games. They just for no reason, just be like, you suck, you noob, you delete the
It
game.
depends on the game. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so those girl games are very nice. Like if you play
like Roblox.
nice or not nice?
That's nice.
Nice
Some context. I gave my daughter a phone around 4.
Yep.
Not because I wanted her to have a phone, but she actually unlocked my iPad when she was 2 years old. Because she keeps seeing us do it, and
Yeah.
she just followed.
Same dash also.
So, me being someone in the social media space as well, I do think that having experienced it all, I think for me, it's better if I can guide her and educate her about it as she grows, rather than restrain her from social media ever and finally giving it to her when she turns 14 or 15
Right.
or 16 and all hell breaks loose. It's like
Okay, so-
clubbing. It's like clubbing.
Oh, so do it early, is it?
So precisely, there's no real fixed rule about dealing with this, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
4, but you were giving a very guided dosing, you're giving and you're learning with her, you're there with her. So that's very different from someone giving the kid at 4 a phone and
Exploring
and
themselves.
explore her own. It's
And
very
also
different.
limit the amount of time
Yes.
that they're on it. Maybe you can give them the phone but only use for a certain period of time, like not unlimited usage, Yeah.
And there are already guidelines on this actually that have been released. From 1 to 6 actually, quite minimal.
0
and then
to
after that, you have phone-free zones, and then 1 hour before bedtime, no screens. Yeah, guidelines.
So guidelines are
Guidelines.
supposed
So
to
you
be,
see, like you should we have a law? Should we not? So we have guidelines, and then you decide what's possible for you and your family.
So guidelines are good practices based on evidence people may have gotten from experiences locally or overseas. But we take it and we see how we can apply it best to our situation, right? Take for example health. we're all supposed to screen for high blood pressure after you're 40, but how many people actually do it?
Yeah, we're supposed to go to the dentist every 6 months.
Yes, exactly. It's only
that
8
is
glasses
scam
of
by
water
that
a day, right? Yeah, so these are all guidelines. People have challenges and they try their best, but I think what's important is we keep the conversations growing, we learn, and we move forward together. I think that's most important, right? Yeah.
So what apps are the kids on these days?
I don't think they should be allowed to go on Telegram. Telegram is
What's
the
your
worst.
grouse with Telegram? actually?
Sorry, what?
What's your grouse
I
with
hate Telegram.
I don't hate Telegram. I just feel it's a breeding ground, a cesspool of like illegal shit because people can truly be anonymous there. I don't know if WhatsApp has the same rules, but it seems like it's always Telegram. And then we have like the Nasi Lemak chat, right? Like things like that. This could be any of
there
our
are
children being out
many
there.
ways to look at this. It's pretty complex. Also, you have the static things like the app itself, right? And the features of the app.
But the Telegram prides itself on being extremely private. I mean, what is that? What is different about Telegram versus like WhatsApp? Why don't people do it on WhatsApp? This kind of like crime
I think for
things.
WhatsApp, you need to actually have the person's number on your phone before you can actually add them to communities. Right? You can't just add random people to your community, right? Whereas in Telegram, because it's
you can hide your phone number.
All you need to do is just go and join. You can join random groups as long as they're public groups, right? So that's
Can't
a
the
feature
government do
of
something
Telegram.
about this?
It's not so straightforward, lah. You know, Telegram
Enforcement
is very challenging in the digital space. Number one, number two, you would have people clamoring over their rights as individuals to consume applications, right? And there are plenty of applications. If you start doing this to Telegram, people will come up with 10 or 20 other apps that may be equally being misused by individuals to do things. So there's no end to then banning or
honestly,
regulating
every app
apps.
can be misused.
Every app can be misused. You're quite right. You know, so
So that's where the parent coming in, the safe adults coming in to ensure the safety of our children.
I see.
It's quite important.
So should parents be able to monitor these group chats?
So I think it's
I mean, is there
important
like an age?
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight that, you know, as parents, I mean, all of us are parents here, it is not about policing them lah. I think we have to grow away from this concept of I'm going to police my kids. It's about partnering them really. Like what we have done quite well. You journey with them. Sometimes it's about exposure to the harms as well. I mean, you mentioned clubbing earlier, right? Right? It's about exposing them to the harm, but being in that space with them, you can then tell them, look, Papa say with you, this is wrong, right? I wouldn't want you to do this, right? And letting them know that takes on a very different sort of an experience compared to they navigating the space on their own, their peers, or completely unchecked.
So I think I have an advantage because I grew up in this space. I literally live in this space.
Yes.
My whole identity is on the space. So I spend a lot of time on social media. I know the ins and outs of it. I know the dangerous sides and the more wholesome sides. So I think with this advantage, I'm able to share more and educate my daughter more. It's just, I don't think everyone is as blessed as me.
Correct. So you shouldn't stop at just sharing with your daughter.
You know?
You should share with other parents too.
Classes, teach anti-bullying classes for like kids nowadays. You know, like how to not be bullied on social media, no matter what people say.
Social media class, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think that's important, like a social media class for kids. It's just that who's gonna allow their kids? Oh yeah, you know, go sign up for Jianhao's Instagram course.
Why? I mean, I'm sure it's a good thing. Why? Correct.
So I think these sort of things are very helpful. I mean, even in mainstream schools, you know, in the curriculum, I'm pretty sure our teachers are doing their best to navigate this space with the students, you know, to teach them how to use social media well.
So is there like a curriculum?
Well, I don't think there's a social media subject curriculum, but I'm pretty sure social media and applications are being used in pedagogy.
Even in my own center, we run certain modules on how we can navigate these kind of spaces. We teach them about it. We share about the harms. We also share about the good side because it's not entirely evil.
How would the counselors know about the harm?
Counselors, because they speak to the kids themselves, so they know. So
But they
from
haven't experienced it
anecdotes.
themselves, what?
Oh, our guys actually are on the platforms. I mean, we are youth workers, so playing Mobile Legends with the kids.
You're talking to us, right? So like we experience a different level.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect everybody to have like a whole hardware Zoom forum about them and like a whole hate track.
How much hate would the counselor have gotten for him to be able to say, look, this is what would happen.
I don't think you need to get hate to educate, but it certainly helps
Right.
if to come from an experience standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, so why are kids so drawn to platforms like Roblox, TikTok?
I don't know what is Roblox like. What do they
How
like
do you
Roblox?
not know what is Roblox?
I mean, what they build stuff lah. I
no,
saw
that's Minecraft. Minecraft.
That's Minecraft, yeah.
So what's
Minecraft.
Roblox?
Actually, we do encourage Starly my daughter, to play Minecraft because
Can sell things, right? Can build supermarket and sell things and all that.
okay, so not that she's not that advanced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it really shows her creativity, you know, and she learns so fast, and it's really crazy to see how she can navigate a computer or iPad and
Wow.
build like a
Is it
house
fun?
with
Should I start?
lights and I think it's more fun than Lego.
Hey, I heard that this kind of kids programs got a lot of pedophiles there talking to the children.
I mean, you can find pedophiles everywhere.
Well, I think what he said earlier is true. There are different types of people everywhere.
Yeah.
And they'll find any means possible to advance their causes. I think this probably will not change.
Right.
So,
But is it
what we can-
rampant? Is it a thing?
Well, I don't have experience in Roblox. I'm not sure whether you play Roblox.
So, because Roblox is a very social place, that's actually where it opens up a lot of vulnerability for young people. Because you don't need to officially have an account to even go in.
Oh.
So anyone can go and start chatting with a young person.
They can exchange personal details, right?
Yes, they can. And that's actually what happened in one of the cases in the States. Someone befriended a young boy and then got him to start sending compromising pictures of himself to him. And eventually the young man was so disturbed by it, he killed himself.
Take, for example,
How old is that boy?
He got to know, he was playing the game at 7. So he got to know the person at 7. And then he,
terrible.
7.
yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, you see, we have had IRC, ICQ,
Yeah.
MSN Messenger. All these were abused too. People get to know people they
right.
don't know. They will ask you out to meet you,
Yeah.
and then they will either scam you or try to harm you. Right? It's existed for decades now.
Right.
So I guess it just comes down to education.
It's just come to education. Things get more sophisticated. So maybe the sophistication of the perpetration of the crime may increase because of the way the
Is there a
platforms are.
tiering system of platforms, like for example, Discord, Roblox, Telegram, tier S of danger?
Oh, yeah.
TikTok, tier B.
So come up with a ranking.
I think there should be.
like a rating
Probably
is very
probably use
serious.
AI to get a ranking out of all these
yeah.
cases and report it, right?
Dating apps.
Yeah,
But I think the fact is what you said, we just got to teach our kids
of course.
how to protect themselves. If a stranger asks you out,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be going, right? Simple things like that.
Right.
I'm sure we were all told when we were young, when a stranger knocks on your door, don't open and let them in,
What
right?
if your
So this
daughter
all-
is the one asking the stranger?
Yeah, so
to come?
these are digital
So
doors
scary.
now, right? These are digital doors, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't open your digital doors to people you don't know at all. It's the same with scams, it's the same with meeting people in the digital spaces.
But I also think it comes down to a bit of trust
Yeah.
between parent and child. And
How can we trust a 7-year-old to know what to do?
again, yes, so depending on the age, then you put in your controls accordingly. And you slowly let them go because you can't be policing them.
Yeah, so simple things. I mean, like, what we do at home is we let them use the devices
Yeah.
for a certain number of hours a day, but in the living room, right? So if they stumble into content they're not sure of, or we are worried that they are looking, we are at least an arm's length away, we can intervene. Imagine
Right.
that same kid, in the room, scrolling through content, maybe a bit curious, in the mind. In two minds, this may be wrong. Mama will not approve of this. But because there's no one, there's less inhibition. Then they scroll more. Then you let the algorithm take over the content that's going to come next.
Yeah.
And that becomes a vicious cycle, right? So very simple controls, just like having simple rules at home. Okay, we let you use the iPad 1 hour a day, but do it in the living room. I won't be there next to you watching it, but you are there. I know you are there. I'm doing my own thing, but at least I'm here. That visual cue that mom is around or dad is around, and if they have the discipline, hopefully you have had that conversations with them, will make them think that, this is something that probably my parents won't approve of, I'm not going to consume it. Or they will come to you and say, is it safe for me? I mean, that's an ideal situation. They come to you and ask. But just being co-located in the same space is a very simple thing I think actually works.
So is there like a guideline of what to do when you've noticed that perhaps your child is talking to strangers or maybe in a position of vulnerability? Is there like a guideline?
I would think that actually more than a guideline, it's more of a posture. So rather than come in as a parent and like, oh, like that to the child, we go, hey, like, what's this? I noticed this. Can you tell me more? And then you dig out, you find out more information. Where did you learn that? Where did you hear that word from? When did you first encounter this? How long have you been looking at it? Then you investigate and you find out
So
more.
cringe, I don't want to talk to my child about porn.
Yeah, we hope none of us are in that position, but
Right.
it's easier said than done, obviously. But
right.
that really has to be the way, rather than all lock, stock, and barrel all out, and then you go crazy on your kid and lock them up and say no iPad for the rest of your life and things like that. And
Respond rather
Yes.
than react.
Yeah. It's easier said than done. I think as parents we all understand emotions get the better of us at times as well, and we come from a place of protection. We want to protect our kid and build a wall around them and make sure they're not exposed to this so-called
What do you think about using religion? God is always looking at what you're looking at on your iPad.
Oh, well, it works for some people. I mean, if the child's really truly grounded in faith and religion and brought up in that manner, that might work. So, but what Elysa said earlier, if the currency is trust, I mean, we all have our own ways of forming the trust with our kids.
I think it's about giving them that ability to know that I am in control. It's not a big bogeyman or a big government or a big parent looking over me. I am old enough to manage, given what I have, and I can take responsibility over my use of social media.
But I just want to mention as well, while we are on this topic, on the ground, what is most important is we also don't forget our vulnerable families in the community, right? Not everyone is blessed with time, like you said, to be able to spend time with their kids, hold their hand and bring them through this journey.
And not everyone is blessed with knowledge of
Exactly. So that's where we are hoping, we have partners in the community, right? People who have some time on their hands to partner with us to help these families out, not to replace the parents, don't get me wrong, but really as mentors in the community, peer mentors, children who are just a few years older than a kid that is struggling with maybe addiction.
You mean there's such a thing?
devices.
So like there are volunteers who can come to my house and help me take care of my child?
So that's when people like Elysa and myself, we come, right? We actually, from a social service perspective, and for me, we try to have youth volunteers on the ground that can actually, out of the love of helping another young person, go and actually journey with another young person who might be struggling with a problem.
Can you explain how this works? Do you go to people's houses?
So even my day job, right?
Yeah.
We have mentoring programs, we have counseling.
So they come to a center?
They come into the center. You actually come in from after school till 5:30, 6.
So it's like an after school care service.
Yes,
But
but
for-
more than that. Because we're not just child minding. There's so much
More they do.
in terms of the social emotional learning, the additional support therapy services that we bring in, and we even support parents.
How does one qualify to go to the center?
So we do some means testing, but when we get referrals, then you can just send your child in.
So the children are like abused or
Depending,
neglected?
that we have had some family violence cases. We've had referrals from Child Protective Services. We do get referrals from family service centers as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So if let's say my child is bullied and very stressed out about it, can he or she apply to go to the center?
Have a book a counselling session with one of our counsellors.
And it's
With them.
free?
Means tested.
So meaning the poorer you are, the cheaper it will be?
Yeah, for
Okay.
lower income
I see.
families.
Okay.
There are programmatized interventions like that, but something can be just very loose and ground up. Like in my area, we have a few youth who volunteer, ad hoc. They say that if you need my help, call me. Sometimes it's just a phone call. Someone in the community is just willing to befriend another person who's struggling.
Right.
Just to spend time with them to navigate the journey together. They could have maybe the lived experience of having gone through something. Right, and they say that if you find someone else who's going through something that I went through and came out of, I'm more than happy to come and give them a perspective
Right.
and journey with them. Hopefully, in our approach to stem bullying, our goal and aspiration is that every child will be able to firstly identify when there's a bully or when there's bullying taking place. Highlight it hopefully to their teachers to take action if they feel that they can't do it themselves.
The teachers know.
Yeah, okay.
The teachers know. I can
You think
promise
they
you.
ignore me? I don't think they will ignore me.
Teachers ignore.
All the time, to be honest, like you said, sometimes it's bullying, it can be psychological bullying, right? It may not be physical bullying. It may be on the online space, but it can manifest in the classroom in terms of how they are dealing with one another.
Yeah.
Like, teachers may not actually know.
I think it's very subjective also, because if A says that B is bullying me and then like A defends and say no, B also said this thing to me, right? Which is the recent MOE case,
yes,
right? That's
yes.
exactly what happened, right? People, the dissecting child also come back and say that, oh, she, you know, the so-called victim was also saying racist statements and stuff like that. It's very hard for the authorities to do something about it. So technically, in order to get justice, a victim needs to do nothing, like really suffer. Then you can say, I did nothing to deserve this, I did nothing to fight back, and this is what happened to me. If you fight back in any way, then it becomes not so much bullying, but just you two fighting.
Or you can say stop. I think a very powerful word we can use is stop.
Right.
The problem is a lot of the times there's a diffusion of responsibility. Everyone thinks that someone else will speak up for this person. It takes a lot of courage to step up and be seen as a snitch. But actually, you really would be someone's hero, right? If you step up and say stop.
And we don't want to deal with complications. Ideally, we want to intervene even before you have to deal with such issues. So clearly, you want to reduce, you know, the number of cases that actually crop up to an extent where you have a difficulty in even finding out who's the bully, who got cross-bullied, and then got to end up, you know, looking at both the people involved. Ideally, you want to intervene more upstream, like what we want to do with everything else in terms of healthcare and things like that, right? Prevent the complications that come out of it. Educate the kids, right? Nip it in the bud, and that's where the partnership comes into place. Parents, students, counselors, teachers.
Right.
Each of us have a part to play. Yes, sometimes, you know, one might drop the ball and things may fester, but surely if everyone takes effort to be proactive about stopping it, at one of the checkpoints, it would be caught. That's what we hope the system would be. We don't want it to have skipped every checkpoint, and by the time, you know, we deal with it, we are actually dealing with like 2-3 levels downstream, and it might be too much damage done at the time to even go through restorative phases, you know. Yeah,
I guess so.
I would encourage young boys to stand up for themselves. I would encourage them to stand
why
up.
just boys? Why not girls
Girls
too?
too.
Yeah.
I mean, to a bully, if one confronts you physically or mentally or verbally, I would encourage them to stand up to the bully, because there's really nothing to lose. I think it's very strong character development for one to just stand up to a bully. Like, for example, when I moved over to Vietnam in middle school, right, there was this kid 3 years older than everyone. He was the biggest bully in the class. Everyone.
He's so old means he never passed his grade, right? That means he's dumb, what?
Yeah.
Then why he's so dumb, you also cannot fight him, eh? Because he's big
Dumb
size,
on books doesn't mean, he's much bigger actually. So he has a group of friends, and they would do, so when I first went in, you know, he brought me in, and I'm like, okay, we're the coolest group in
Wait, you join his group? That's a
Wait,
twist.
first you make friends when you join.
Okay.
Join,
So he likes you lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you go into a new school, you make friends.
Right.
You know, if like the big guy comes up to you, asks you to be friends, it's like anywhere, prison,
Sure.
school, anywhere, you'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm down.
Right.
And after school,
Your
he
swagger?
starts rolling weed.
Oh wow, that's crazy. How old?
We were in Vietnam,
Oh yeah, but how old lah? Is this
16.
16? Okay.
So he starts rolling weed and forces me to take one. I said no. He was offended. But when one person realizes that they cannot force somebody into it, eventually they stop. Then second, he starts borrowing money and doesn't return. And he does that to everyone. Then eventually I said no, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I make friends with someone else. That guy breaks down. The moral of the story is that most of the time, these bullies are just very insecure, and when you gather them in a group, it's very hard to fight or stand up against them. But if you just say no, or as you said, just say stop, then oftentimes their insecurity comes up. You make friends with somebody else, you make a bigger group, then they get left out.
So you became top dog in school, is it? That's what you're saying? That you took over his like most popular group. That's why he break down. How did he show
I
that he
didn't
break
take
down?
over. I just made
new
other friends.
Oh, you formed a new, more popular
Give
group.
him less attention. Give the bully less attention. It
How
helps.
do you know he break down? How do you know he cry or what?
He's like, why aren't you hanging out with me anymore? Why do you
How long
Yeah.
was it? The time period between you getting to know him?
around 2 months?
Well,
And we became pretty good friends. In
In the end, ah?
No. We were there for each other during that 2 months, but
see.
there were times where I did not like the bully behavior.
Oh.
And one of the things that made me really annoyed with them was when they cut my sister's queue in lunch. My sister is younger. I think
Same
one
school.
thing that really made me stand up towards bullies was because I have a younger sister.
Yep.
So naturally,
Protective instinct.
when I was younger, I was a bit more protective
Yep.
and
Right.
really against this bullying.
So you should stand up for yourself. Form a
Eventually,
new
I stand up, and it was fine.
Would you say you were a confident kid
And guess
when you were
what?
young?
He died from getting shot a few years ago.
No freaking way. Why he get shot though? He giving out free drugs
I
again.
don't know, but I mean, if you go down this path when you are
Oh shit.
when you are young,
So he
eventually
became
it doesn't
criminal.
end well.
He's a criminal.
Back to
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, would you call yourself a confident kid
no,
when you were...
maybe.
Yeah, so I think confidence plays a part because you were confident enough to stand up and say no to him. I think that's
But
the...
also I was new, so I didn't have.
Yes, you didn't have the baggage, so to speak, of
I
correct.
wouldn't be scared of him because
Yes.
I was new. But
But I think that's important to instill in our children, for them to stand on their own and be confident in themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
up.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the message.
Yes.
Like when I was in I think kindergarten, I think I was being a bully. Now that I think about it, so there was this girl, right? If you say anything to her, she will start crying. Yeah, so a group of us would just make it a habit every single day to try to make her cry, and it can be the simplest things like very dumb one. Like for example, if your name Elysa, then she cries. Just every day we did it, but the reason why we did it is because we know she's gonna cry. There is a reaction. So one day she just stopped crying and we just stopped doing it because no reaction. What's the point?
Exactly.
So it's something you have to teach your child.
Sometimes it's a personality problem. Like
Yeah.
maybe stop being so annoying and people will stop bullying you.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it also comes in self-reflection instead of always standing up to the bully.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
look at yourself. Why
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
getting bullied?
Yeah, maybe because
maybe
you're being a know-it-all. Maybe
you're
teacher
being
pet.
annoying, you're being
Yeah.
a snitch.
So that's actually a very good question. It actually brings about the concept of what actually constitutes bullying. Earlier I was just chatting with Elysa and saying that, in our primary school, secondary school, we have our own cliques, right? Your own circle of friends.
Yeah.
And then maybe multiple circle of friends vying to be the more popular group in school or be the more influential group in school in trying to organize outings or getting things done, whether it's for PE, for example, what sport to play. And there may be very subtle elements of, I would say, a dominant group versus a less dominant group. Does that actually constitute bullying? You have any thoughts surrounding
Yes, so I
that?
was explaining to Dr. Hamid that bullying is really something that occurs over a period.
Right.
It's consistent and there's a power imbalance where you see, repeated use of violence or emotional or intimidation to then gain power over someone. So when you're little bit just having fun, talking to people, I wouldn't say that's long enough or repeated enough then to say, oh, you bully. So we also don't have to jump on every case
Yeah.
and say, oh, this is a bully case, that's a bully case, because then you can go
'cause
the other
that's
extreme.
school, right?
Banter is part of school,
You
right?
put a few people in the room, you
Yes.
start having politics, you start
Yeah.
having power dynamics. So
And the
I don't
so-called
think
victim may not have even spoken up, right?
Yeah.
I
And maybe sometimes they have fun. Maybe if it's a group of us and then we always make fun of the fat guy.
But is it bullying if the person doesn't feel it's bullying?
I think it's not bullying if he never ever once say that he's not happy. How am I supposed to know?
So is bullying a perspective of the person being bullied?
And then maybe if I keep saying a guy is smart and I keep complimenting him, maybe he feels that it's bullying and maybe he feels that I keep on singling him out.
I would actually think that there would be some kind of proper objective definition of what bullying is.
Can we Google the definition of bullying? The actual definition of bullying.
So this is the definition. Bullying is when people repeatedly and intentionally use words or actions against someone or a group of people to cause distress and risk to their well-being. Yes.
Risk to
I guess
risk to well-being.
Yeah, it's your intent lah. If you intend to cause harm,
Yep.
but they didn't get harm, then you're not a bully. If you intend to cause harm and they did get harm, then you're a bully.
Yeah, so I think one way that you can encourage less bullying is to not receive it so strongly lah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that cannot be really you cannot encourage somebody to think differently is when it comes to physical
Violence,
Oh, yes, that's for
That's
sure.
an objective
Yes.
Yeah.
cause of harm.
Yes.
True.
Yeah. Maybe sometimes just make friends with the bully and be kind to them. They
Right.
may try to hurt you,
Yeah.
you be kind to them, maybe they see things in a different perspective.
True.
You brought up a very important point. We always talk about the first victim, who is the person being bullied.
Yeah.
But there's also a second victim, who you rightly pointed out, the bully himself may have underlying issues that perpetuate his behavior.
True.
And unless someone unpacks it, and finds out, you may not even be able to help this person who is displaying these violent tendencies or tendencies of bullying. So we're not calling them victims, but I think while we want to ensure that the person being bullied is protected and rehabilitated, we also want to ensure that the bully himself doesn't become a second victim in this process where we frame him as a bully and then forget about why he's bullying in the first place.
Then it creates an identity, then he's forever gonna be the bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's helpful not to pigeonhole
Yeah.
people and to see that it's actually quite a complex thing. Many bullies were themselves bullied before.
I want to ask Jianhao something. Do you think study has like famous parents, right? I mean, then do you think that causes her to more likely to be bullied or less?
More likely.
Really?
Really, for sure.
I was just discussing with the staff just now. I feel like it's less likely there.
Maybe even online. Even online. Don't say like child lah.
Yeah.
Like you, me, Kim. Are we not more?
But I mean, if I meet Stali and I'm her age, I would rather be her friend than go and bully her. Then I can go to her house and play her toys. That seems more like the smarter thing to do. I go and suck up.
that would be the
sure that would be,
smarter thing to do until
Yeah.
you realize that Stali can't bring 40 other friends to her house, and then the other 35,
I just have to be better than the
the
rest.
other 35 who do not get to hang out with the child star, how do they feel? They start bullying her. What? I teach her to be kind.
Yes.
Right.
I teach her
Also
to be
want
kind.
Ask you what you have
whether she's
talked to her about
different
it.
or not.
Yeah. So have you had this conversation with Stali?
Yes, but I do think that we might have scared her a bit.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
Because we keep talking about primary school is not the same. So right now she's in preschool. She has a very wholesome community.
Oh, that's great.
The friends, I mean, they are all very kind. They dance together. They play together. It's not gonna be the same in primary school. So we do talk to her about it. And of course, there is that element of fame,
Yep.
social media.
Yeah.
She's someone who grew up under these conditions. So naturally, people will pick on her, or even like compliment her, or even like, Stali, can we take a photo? Can you do this TikTok with me? The moment she's in a bad mood for one day and say, no, I don't want to do TikTok, then she's gonna be the target. Oh, Stali thinks she's too good for us.
Or may not, because like you said, you have taught her to be kind. So perhaps she will
Yeah, but
be
doesn't mean she
articulate.
should be a pushover.
Yeah, she won't be
what?
pushover, but maybe she'll be articulate enough, you never know, to actually explain to them why she doesn't want to do the video at the time, rather than just saying no and stopping there. Right?
With people, it's different. I take for example, for me, right? I don't enjoy taking photos every day or everywhere I go. But when somebody asks me for a photo, I never say no, or rarely say no, unless I'm like in a rush or in the middle of something very serious, because I just think that it will make their day.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's a few seconds of my time, but it's gonna make that whole person's day. But when you're younger, you don't really understand such empathy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, take a photo and do a TikTok dance is different.
And there have been times where, because we make content with our daughter, and we always teach her that when she doesn't want to, she can say no. But then the problem is when it comes to people outside, she always says no.
It's really all about EQ, which is honestly something a little bit hard to teach, because
very important.
you can say no, but how you say no is different, right? You can be like, I'm so sorry, I'm really feeling very ugly today. I really don't want. Maybe tomorrow, then the person won't be offended.
I agree that EQ can't be taught. Well, of course, you can't teach it as a subject, but I certainly think we can put our kids through experiences which actually develops their EQ. So you don't actually teach it, but you facilitate them developing their
You can
EQ.
model it too. I think you've
Role
been
modeling, like you said.
showing that to your child.
But you're right, I mean, we can only control what is within our remit. You can't control how other people are going to take even your kindness.
Yes.
You can be kind to
that's
someone, and they may not actually see it as kindness.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult part.
They may take advantage of it.
Which is why you should just focus on yourself and
Yes.
care less about what people think of you.
Yeah.
And care less about what people feel or do to you, and receive.
To a certain
from
extent, you know, like you said earlier, there's a limit to how much you can actually take and withstand before you actually have to call it out, lah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be subject to abuse up to a point where you actually physically and emotionally break down. Then you cry foul, right?
Yeah, I think but physical is
Physical is the
really
limit,
bad.
really,
Physical
yeah.
is physical is where we draw the limit.
Yes.
Mental still can be taught, trained,
Yeah,
conditioned.
Yeah, true,
you
true,
know?
true. Yeah.
I think that's where the community can wrap around these people.
Of course.
You know? Yeah.
And also, you know, we keep talking about the person who gets bullied. We don't talk about the bully, actually. We haven't been talking much about the bully. I would suggest for bullies to just self-reflect. But obviously, there are many other ways to self-validate, like having friends, doing better in school, getting better grades. These are all a better way to self-validate than to push over someone who is not the same size.
Yeah, so validation metrics is the whole game in social media, right? I mean, that's what is driving people to get into social media, get followers, likes, accounts, and stuff like that. So it's all interconnected, actually. If you think about it, what they physically manifest as physical bullying in school may all be linked to their behaviors on the online space as well, you know? So it may be because, hey, how come this other guy get more likes than me? You know, I need to do something else to feel better about myself.
Yes.
So where I can't beat him, I try to beat him at something else.
Oh, that's true. You know, I think what's scary is that when you see someone bullying, you may not be a bully yourself. You may be actually a kind person, but you will still continue to do it. Remember that like psychological experiment that some scientists did, right? Like they had something that electrocutes someone behind the glass, and they say like you hit a certain amount and it will be almost like life-threatening, super painful. Then the scientists just keep telling them to continue. Tell them don't worry, just hit it. And the person behind is actor lah, but it's like like fucking pain. And because the scientists instructed the test subject to continue pressing, they just continue. So which is a psychological thing to show that if you are a friend of a bully, they ask you to continue hitting, you will lah.
Yeah, psychologically, yes.
Yeah, and it's almost 100% of all the test subjects do it.
Yeah,
Nobody stands up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's cruel and crazy. Okay, this one. Do schools sometimes try to cover up bullying cases to protect their reputation? What do you all think?
Well, I sure hope not, but no, I don't think any school would want to cover up just to save their. It's actually to the contrary. If a school actually can come up and say that, you know, this is what happened and this is what we've done to help, I think will improve their reputation even more, to be transparent about it, to show that they're actually adding value.
What if they actually never do anything about it?
I don't think there'll be a situation where a school gets to know that there's a bullying case in their school involving their students and they don't do anything about it.
I guess they have to do something
have to do
about
something
it because
about
it could lead to something worse. Then that would
like going viral on
damage
social
Affect
media.
their reputation too, right? So they want to do something about it.
The risk of it affecting their reputation is worse than.
But more importantly, they are strong partners in development of students together with parents. So it's almost a responsibility of the school, the principals, the teachers, to actually do something about it.
But do you feel that in this generation there is more or less bullying compared to, 20 or 10 years ago?
I do think there are, like what we spoke about earlier today, there are just a lot more platforms and avenues for bullying behavior to thrive, unfortunately. Right? And therefore more opportunities, in inverted commas, for bullying behavior to be displayed by individuals who want to bully compared to in previous years. So I think that's where education needs to catch up. But it is so fast that sometimes we may not have covered all our ground in terms of the applications that you mentioned, that are just churning out day on day, new applications, new games, new platforms for people to display bullying behavior in a variety of forms. So back to the question on awareness campaigns and all that, it's not just about campaigns. It really is about conversations. And I think that has to start at home. So we can have all the campaigns, at a national level, all the rules, guidelines. I don't think campaigns and all that will work, I don't think awareness campaigns will actually work if parents or caregivers or teachers or even peers don't have conversations with each other. I don't think there's any other way to unlock this knot.
I do think that there's more visibility. The cases do seem to be also escalating in terms of the intensity. Maybe that's why it's creating that sense of, oh, there's so much more. I don't have the data and the stats on it also. But having said that, I think bullying will be something that, our parents dealt with, we dealt with, our children and their children will continue to deal with. As long as there's human to human interaction, there'll be that risk. And like what Dr. Hamid said, continuing to open up conversations, trying to understand one another rather than demonizing the other, whether bully or the person who's bullied.
Yeah, imagine if somebody stuffing my head down the toilet bowl. I'm like, are you okay? Do you get traumatized at home? Does your mother
Again, the
love you?
Yeah.
How has cancel culture on TikTok and Instagram shaped the way kids view mistakes?
Kids got kena cancelled, meh?
Maybe single out.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a version of getting cancelled somewhere.
I think we need to know that, social media is not a court, right?
Right.
It cannot be permissible for people to make judgment based on what they see on social media.
They can and they will.
Things go much beyond that. I think one of the things we cannot allow it to happen is a medium where we serve justice or we serve
true lah.
judgment.
Okay, fine.
I think we just cannot. I think there's a line to draw, and I don't think we want to cross that line where we say, yes, we're going to have a justice culture on social media.
But we do have laws, like
Yes, we do have laws.
and all that, right? So
Yeah.
there is laws to help with this, and there's always the route of going the defamation.
Yes,
suit,
yes.
yeah?
But then again, we don't want to be a litigious culture where we just keep suing everyone else who cancels us on
for
social
sure.
media.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel very strongly about this that we cannot allow the mob culture to persist in our digital spaces. I think it will contrive
too mindful about
creativity. Our kids will behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Because of this, if we leave it to pester, there will be people who will not express themselves in a way that they usually do. And they will have multiple personas. Some people do have a different persona on online space, but you don't want your kid to have this kind of a split personality where they are behaving in one manner just to please the whole world on social media or even in the digital space where they communicate with their friends and be a completely different person when they're not, right? And that may give them an identity crisis.
How do you tell your child? Can you don't be so act cool on social media?
Not really that. It is to make sure that they're confident individuals, that they know that they're confident in their thoughts, their processes, and what they speak within bounds, and that not to be fearful to put things out that for fear of being cancelled.
Right. So you think there should be laws against people who do this cancel culture thing?
Again,
There's no consequence.
it's a bit paradoxical, right? To have a
Yeah.
law against cancel culture. We talk about culture here, right? So I think the right thing to do is to have enough sane voices in that same space.
Yeah.
To call against.
Yeah.
It's a bit, again, sound very, very paradoxical that you are getting to cancel the cancel culture, so to speak.
Right.
To drown the voice of cancel culture. But I don't know. What do you think, Elysa? Do you think we should have legislation to stem this?
So legislation may not really be the way forward. Instead, it's really helping every child know that they have a voice. And online, actually, that's where it really becomes quite democratic and equal.
Yeah.
Everybody's voice matters.
Right.
So maybe just letting children know that if you see something that you don't feel comfortable with, you don't think it's right, you can call it out, and you can do so in a way that is not combative.
Right.
You can be kind about it even online. Your child would be in the right place to say that, hey, I see something wrong, I don't agree with what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
You can also talk your child through it. Maybe not on jumping on the bandwagon and throwing more stones on someone who's
Right.
already down.
Right.
But maybe having a conversation with a child about what would you do, if you were in her position, how would you help if this were your friend? And turn it into something more constructive rather than throwing stones at someone who's already down.
So I guess with that, we come to the end of today's episode. Thank you to our guests, Dr.
Thank you very
Hamid and Elysa. Elysa, for all your insight today.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things like if you're a parent and if you see something, respond, don't react. Yeah, guide your child through, guide them through social media because being in groups, interacting with people, being in the digital world is still new to some of them, and in fact, it may be new to you as well. That's why you should listen to this podcast and learn more.
Correct, about parenting.
Or at least when it comes to the digital world, I think we have went through a lot for us to
Yeah, we have.
give some advice that could help. And also when it comes to bullying, you know, I think my stance is that if you can stand up for yourself, please do so, because there's no harm in it. Don't be scared. And in this day and age, there are plenty of platforms, teachers, community to support you. You don't have to be scared to stand up to someone and be afraid of repercussions or getting picked on even more.
That's
But
true.
of course, if you are
Worst come to worst, write to Jianhao for help.
if you're constantly, you know, getting bullied, then maybe you should also do some reflection. Why are people picking on you? You know, it can't just be that everyone hates you, right? I mean, there has to be something about you that you're not doing right. So maybe do some self-reflection. Don't always blame the bully. Don't always play the victim. And you know, and of course, if you did something wrong, whether you're a guy or not, then you know, face the consequences. It's dealing with people. You don't have to cancel them. You don't have to gather people and you know, dig out their past for something. If you did something wrong, accept the consequence.
Right.
When it comes to bullying, I think that's what it is. And if you are a bully, there's no need to bully. Just go read a book, because there's plenty of things that can
During
be
school, yes.
that can help your self-validation than
yeah.
bullying or hurting people, because it never ends well. Trust me, I've seen it. You don't hear a bully giving success stories about how in the past they were bullied, they picked on everyone. You don't have to fight for business, you don't have to fight for anything, you just study.
Yes, just go and study.
What's
Okay,
that? If you don't want to study, then go pick up a hobby and improve yourself.
that's true. Learn about crypto and how to invest your money.
This is not advisable for anyone.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wow,
No. Okay.
And of course, thank you to our guests for providing your
No problem.
insight.
It's been,
It was
very, very insightful
refreshing.
conversation. Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Bye,